In this video, I want to take a moment to talk about our last port of call on our 9-night Celebrity Beyond cruise, which was Falmouth, Jamaica. I do believe I'm saying that correctly. I actually don't believe I've ever heard it said before, but we're going to call it Falmouth, Jamaica. In the last 3 videos where I talked about Grand Cayman, Aruba, and Curacao, the theme was for us to get to the terminal, get off, walk around, then come back to the terminal and try to find an excursion. In my last video, I mentioned that we met quite a few friends on the tour, so the Tuckers and the Browns. What we'd planned to do as soon as we got off the ship in Jamaica was to immediately go and find an excursion. And that's precisely what we did. So when we arrived in Jamaica, it looks like they have maybe 2 or 3 berths in Falmouth. We parked at one, I went and took my shower, I came back. We were no longer there. Apparently we had to switch around. And later we would learn that one of the Oasis class ships was there, so perhaps they needed that berth for the larger ship. So once we got dressed, we met our friends down at Cafe Al Baccio, got coffee, proceeded to the gangway where we got off the ship, and immediately went to find an excursion. We ended up letting the Tuckers and the Browns, so our new friends, do the negotiating for this excursion. And man, I'll just say off the bat, this was the most expensive excursion that we had. Now, I'm really not an outdoor type of person, not by a long shot actually. So when I heard them saying we were going to do a rafting kind of excursion, I thought, oh my God, I do not want to do this. But at the same time, I said, well, if the majority of the group wants to do it, I'm going to do it, right? I heard them talking about pricing, and I think our bus ride for each one of us was $40 or $50. The actual ticket to ride so we went to the Martha Brae River, by the way, which I think is in the state of Trelawney. Again, I've never heard these words being spoken before, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it. Trelawney is where we went for this Martha Brae River raft excursion. So it was about $40, $50 for our bus ride to get there and back. It was probably $50 or $60 for the excursion itself. So first and foremost, just getting to the place where all of the excursion folks were, the gentleman that we were engaging with was just very standoffish. It was almost as if he just did not want to be bothered with us. Again, we allowed our friends to do the negotiating because had it been me, I would have walked away because I just don't do poor customer service. But anyway, we ended up doing this excursion. We got on the bus, and as soon as we got on the bus, it's like this guy flipped a switch and turned on his personality and customer service. So much so that I remember thinking, dude, be quiet. We just want to enjoy the scenery to the location where this excursion begins. We went around this really dark, twisty road. And when I say dark, it was dark because there were a lot of trees. It was actually really beautiful out that day. But it was like in a rainforest kind of area. And man, he was speeding this little bitty bus around corners, and the corners were blind, and they were just driving, meeting up with cars. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna die and fall in this little bitty river over here. We didn't, everything was fine. As I mentioned a few moments ago, I'm not an outdoors type of person at all. And when we arrived, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be uptight and cringe, like just grossed out the entire time. And of course we get there and it's getting really busy. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, an Oasis class ship had arrived. Now, I don't believe those folks had gotten off their vessel yet. And I'm glad that we got there when we did because there were already a lot of people there from our ship. And so I can't imagine how much more hectic that scene would have been once those folks from that Oasis class ship. And I'll put the name of the ship on the screen because I don't remember which one it was, but it was an Oasis class ship from Royal Caribbean. We got there and we had to go into a room 2 by 2 to get our ticket and pay the individual our money for our ticket on this Bamboo River cruise. And then they shuffled us to another line where we were supposed to get a complimentary drink. I asked if there was alcohol in it. There wasn't, so I didn't get one. Then they shuffled us down to the loading place where we were going to get on these vessels, if you will. If you've ever done the Bamboo River cruise, you know exactly what it is I'm talking about. But these are those right here. And I thought to myself, I am well over 200 pounds. I'm not going to say, all right, I'm 230 pounds. Daniel is 300 pounds. I don't know if this little grass boat is going to hold us in this river? Because they were telling us the cruise was going to take an hour to an hour and a half. And I'm like, I got to be on this thing this long. I am going to die. Like, I'm going to drown. Anyway, we got on the vessel without a hitch. We went on the cruise without a hitch. Just being under that canopy of trees, going through that river. I don't know how to describe this water, but the water was like a blue, but it was like a foggy or cloudy kind of blue. And, you know, they have these captains that are kind of navigating us on this vessel using a larger piece of bamboo. And our captain, Richard, he couldn't have been no bigger than my finger right here. He was from the capital city of Jamaica, I believe it was. He was awesome. He sang. As I mentioned in an earlier video, they had a lot of people on the side who were selling things, food, drinks, you know, hand carvings, things of that sort. So, as I said in that video, I was really anxious to not touch anything because I'd heard about going to ports of call, and when you're traveling internationally, if they hand you something, then they're expecting you to buy it, and they might make a big deal if you don't. And so one of the gentlemen on the side of the on the bank of the river threw this thing, and Daniel was just very quick to grab it. So this is like a miniature version of the bamboo vessel that we were on the Martha Brae River. And luckily, Daniel actually wanted this thing, and I think he paid $10 for it, and he's already broken it. I think it had 2 other pieces of something on it. I think we got one of those patty things. Beef patty, I think is what it's called. I got some coconut water, and our tour guide or captain, Richard, he sang half the time. He actually sounded pretty decent too. I'll pause it or put that video toward the end so you can hear him singing. But he had a good time. He gave us some history of the island. He talked about his life. It really was an enjoyable experience. It was very scenic. I think toward the end it got less scenic because we ended up passing a water treatment plant. But otherwise it was very scenic. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that our new friends are the ones who were able to coordinate this. Once we got to the ending point of this excursion, we got on the bus and we ended up going to a beach. I think it was the Blue Lagoon Beach. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll see if I can remember where it is or what the name of that beach was, and I'll put it on the screen. But whatever this beach was, we went to it. It was super crowded. We had to pay a cover to get into the beach, which was maybe $20 or $25. Then we had to pay for an umbrella. We ended up paying for a cabana, which was really expensive. Probably over $100, maybe even $200 this cabana. And then it didn't include any food or anything. So once we got in, you know, they talked me into getting in the water and taking my shirt off in public. Not something I like or enjoy doing. See me in a year and maybe that'll have changed. At any rate, we swam a little bit, talked. That was really awesome, just being in the water with Daniel, Renee, and Erica. And I think Tucker was in the water, or he was off in the distance taking pictures or something. We were laughing at him for that. But otherwise, that was a really awesome experience. We ended up getting out of the water and decided that we wanted food. And we went and ordered food, and it probably took forever for that food to get to us. It was really expensive too. I ended up ordering a burger, and the burger was massive. It was huge. I think I took 2 bites of it and I gave it to Daniel. It was actually super good, but it was too big for me. Like, I don't like eating large bits of food. I like eating a lot of food. I just don't want one piece of food to be that large, but it was good. We ended up kind of getting up a little earlier than I think we anticipated. And we waited for our bus driver, or looked for him probably for 20 or 30 minutes after we got dressed, rinsed off, and left the beach area. And we went on to another side of the island, perhaps to show a beach to some other folks, because he had picked up some new and random people that weren't originally part of our group, and they wanted to take pictures on the beach. So the beach where we were wouldn't let them come in without paying a cover, which I thought was ridiculous. But we went to another beach, and apparently they were able to get some really good pictures. I'll see if Daniel has one of the pictures, because he actually got off the bus to take a picture too, as if he didn't just spend 3 hours on another beach. Once we got to the terminal, that's when we could really see just the massive size difference between Celebrity's Edge class of ship and Royal Caribbean's Oasis class of ship. I mean, it's just insane. Daniel was frustrated with me because there were some people on the bus with us who were talking about how amazing the Oasis class of ship and how they were kind of snubbing their nose at the edge, the Celebrity Beyond. And I made the comment, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's nice, but it's kind of like, you know, Toyota and Lexus or Honda and Acura. I should have said Honda Acura first because Honda was the first with a luxury brand in '86 and Toyota came in '90. Anyway, but I said it's kind of like, that's kind of the difference. You know, they're the same company, but one is just a little nicer than the other. And Daniel fussed at me because he said it sounded snobbish, but I didn't mean it to. I meant to say that you guys should try Celebrity cruises because the Edge class of ship, as you've seen in all of these videos that I've been posting, have been just amazing, and I can't wait to go on my next cruise. Anyway, we got back to the terminal. We went inside some of the stores there at the terminal. After we left from shopping or doing some window shopping, I don't know if any of us bought anything. We went through Jamaican security, and then we ended up walking right onto the vessel and right up to, I think probably the resort deck or maybe the Grand Plaza because we wanted drinks. Jamaica was beautiful. What I will say is it was, again, the most expensive of the 4 islands that we visited during this cruise. So again, Grand Cayman, Aruba, Curacao, and then Jamaica. It was the most expensive for us. I think the thing that really frustrated me, or I'm not gonna say it frustrated me, it was expensive because it was so a la carte. The ride, getting in on the river, you had to buy all of this stuff, you know, going up and down the river. Then you had to pay to get into the beach, had to pay for a cabana, which I think that's normal, right? Paying for cabanas, pay for an umbrella, pay for all of your food. Like at every turn, it seemed like someone had their hand out. The thing that was perhaps most insulting, because I truly believe in tipping, but I am so frustrated with tipping, you know, at a Chipotle or, you know, whatever this casual eatery place is before I get my food, right? How the hell do I know what to tip you before you've done the service? Anyway, that's another conversation. But when we got the spot on the beach, the gentleman was like, "Can I have a tip, please?" And I thought, how dare you? Like, you're gonna ask for a tip? Like, we tip on our own. You don't ask for a tip, right? Different culture, but it was just weird to me. It's quite frustrating to me, to be honest, because I'm like, you literally just walked us around the beach and we found a spot and then you claimed it for us. Like, why do you need a tip? Whatever. I don't want to knock how someone is making their money. That's just a weird way of making money to me. And that's pretty much it. It was a pretty cool experience. I enjoyed it. It was costly. We didn't get a tour of the island or anything. The most information that we learned during this day in Jamaica was during our Martha Brae River cruise from Richard. He talked a lot about the culture, his experience, eateries, clubs, and things to do while you're in Jamaica, not necessarily in Falmouth, but in other parts of the island. It's somewhere that I would like to go again, but God, it was expensive in my opinion. And I'm curious to know what my friends, if they're watching this video, I'm really curious to know what they thought about what they had to pay on this excursion compared to the other ones that we participated in the other islands. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the videos. I've enjoyed making them. I make the videos, I may have said this in another video, I make the videos because I like using my technology. So my camera, my microphones, I love editing the videos. I'm not saying I'm super great at it, but I enjoy editing the videos. And then I enjoy sharing the experience of my cruises with my friends and family, colleagues, and things of that sort. But feel free to like and subscribe. I will put the playlist for all of these videos somewhere. I don't know if I'll do it in the description or if I can do it in a card on the screen here. But anyway, if you want to see the overall experience for us, a comparison of the Celebrity Edge versus the Celebrity Beyond, because those are the 2 ships that I've been on, and then the individual excursion videos, all of those videos will be in that playlist. Thanks. Take care.